Hello everyone, so today I'll be showing you how to make your own minifigure display case that will display about 244 or around that minifigures if I did the math correctly. But so all we're really going to need is a 2x4 that's 8 foot long, which you can find these at your local hardware store. Just make sure it's pretty straight, so you can check that out by looking down the sides of it and just making sure it doesn't bend or anything, otherwise your shelves are going to be messed up. But so first thing I did here, as you can tell, I already cut these up, but I started out with 2x4 and I cut it so that these are each 1 inch and a quarter, so 1 inch and a quarter. That's what this is. I have not cut this down, so you'll end up with 2 inch and a quarter pieces. You're gonna have to run it through 2 times. I ran it through my table saw, and so the next step you're gonna do is just so you know, this will be extra. If you want to use it, you can use it, but I'm not gonna be using this since it kind of has ugly stuff on it that I can't really use. So then after I cut it for 1 inch and a quarter, then I set my table saw to about 3/4 of an inch. So this is our 3/4 of an inch shelves. So they'll be 1 inch and a quarter long, or yeah, like long, or their depth will be 1 inch and a quarter. That's enough that'll fit a 4-stud minifigure base on there, and then the front will just be 3/4. So that's enough that it will be stable enough to keep itself from bending and being too weak. But so these are 8 foot long, and then so I'm gonna finish up cutting this down, and then I'll show you the next step. So we now have 4 of these pretty little pieces of wood. They're nice and smooth. I like that, so I don't need to sand them down or anything. If you guys think yours need to be sanded down, you can do that if you want. These ends are a little rough, so I'm gonna cut those off, but luckily, since these are I'm gonna cut these down into 40-inch pieces, so I need about yeah, a couple of those, so we'll get into that. Alright, so now we are going to cut each of these to 42-inch strips. So each one, since it's each strip is 8 foot long, you will be able to get 2 42-inch pieces out of it. So you should end up with 8 42-inch pieces in total. So we're going to go cut those up. Alright, I now have all of my 42-inch pieces, so they are all cut and ready. Now I'm going to switch over to another piece that we will cut up so that we can use that as the sides. So what we're going to do next is that piece that I told you you would have left over and we wouldn't use. I was wrong, we do need that. The one piece that's 3/4 inch, it's the scrap left over after you cut the 2 1 1/4 inch pieces. So we will be needing this, and I will now be cutting it into 32-inch pieces so we can use that as the side. Two 32-inch pieces, so yeah. And the last cut we need to make before we finally assemble is this is going to be the top and bottom that holds it together. The 2 32-inch pieces are the sides, and now this will be 2 more 42-inch pieces. So total project just includes 1 2x4 that is 8 foot long, and then this one that's about 42 inches long, so that we can get 2 pieces out of that. And I think I'm gonna make them about 3/4, maybe 1 inch, just so it has a little bit more support. But let's cut this up and we can start assembling. So the total of wood you should have is 8 of the 42-inch pieces, 2 of the 32-inch pieces, and then I made these last 2 top and bottom pieces 43 1/4. So 43 1/4, remember that. So those will overlap the top and bottom, you'll see once I assemble it, But so let's lay this out so we can start nailing this together. So this is what mine looks like, just roughly laid out on the ground. Those are all on their sides, but they eventually will be the other direction so that you get more space on the shelf. But so I'm going to nail this together. But so as you can tell, I have these spaced apart about 3 inches. That's how about as tall as I want my shelves. Some of you guys might want to make the bottom shelf, as I will probably do, a little bit bigger for maybe just putting larger figures down there, just like Hulk or something, or you could put Tauntauns or other Star Wars creatures down there. So you might want to make the bottom shelf a little bit bigger. Just keep that in mind. Also, and just yeah, maybe make some shelves 3.5 inches just so you can fit some of those taller characters on it. So now I will officially measure all these out and start nailing it together. A tip for you guys is the nails I am using are a 1.5 inch nails. So just so if you're afraid of that splitting the wood, because it could, since we're dealing with such a small gauge, you can just get some pliers like these and just make sure they have that piece that can cut off stuff, and you just put that in. You can cut the little pointed tip off so that it's nice and flat, and that will not fracture your wood while nailing. Alright everyone, here is the finished piece of work. We just need to put one last step if you want to, which I am going to do. I'm going to cut a piece of wood down so that it will fit the back of this, and then I'm going to go spray paint it. So what I did was just nailed 2 nails in for every shelf, and I also marked where I needed those shelves to be. I got measuring tape out for that. And then these top ones, like I said, how they're 43.25 inches, they run across these, so I put them instead of being in between like these 42-inch ones. So I'm pretty happy, and now I'm going to cut that back up and put that on so I can go spray paint it. Alright everyone, so I have this set up. I have that marked as 43.25, so we're going to make that mark through the table saw, and then I'm going to then mark it for 33 inches, I believe, something like that. I'll have to remeasure, but we'll cut that back and then nail it on real fast. Alright everyone, so the back dimensions are 43.25 by 33.5. So I have, if you can tell, I have the minifigure shelves underneath, and I now will be nailing this. I'm just going to cut the nails down to size because they're a little too long that they'd almost stick through. So I'm going to cut them down to size, maybe like 1/2 inch, and then I'm going to nail those in and go spray paint it. So it's about done. There's a shot with the back on, so now it is completely finished, and you can spray paint it whatever color you want. I personally am going to do it black, and then we'll see how that turns out. So I'll let that dry overnight, and thanks everyone for watching. So this is it with a couple coats of paint on it, and you can kind of see it's a little wet still right now because I just put one on. So I'm going to leave this out here to dry, and then check it in a couple hours. So we'll see how that looks, and then I might put one more coat, but I think it's pretty good, so that we can start lining it with minifigures. Alright everyone, here is the finished product, with all my minifigures on it and hung up. And actually, I forgot to tell you guys, but I simply just bought some picture frame things that you can put on the back of picture frames, and nailed that onto the back of this so that I could screw the screws into the wall and then hang it. And so yeah, I like the way it turned out, and you can buy LED strips and put those on the bottom of the shelves so that it lights it up. I think that's what I will eventually do, but for right now I'm really happy with the way it looks, and I hope you guys, yours turn out pretty well too, and you enjoy them. So thanks for watching. Please like this video and subscribe if you're new to my channel. Bye.